Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is kidRiot, and we're back with another Attack on Auraxis, episode 2. This week it's going to feature Sturm Grenadier and Wage Crew Gaming in their latest community clash on Wednesday. As you can see with my face that we've fixed the lighting here in this room between myself and my wife and gotten a better setup for us. I even dressed up so I don't look like the guy that sleeps under the bridge. So this is all for you guys, just keep that in mind, this is all for you guys. So as soon as this video starts, we'll get started. The first topic I wanted to discuss in this community match between these two outfits was the importance of air in the Nexus. In 24 vs 24, air maybe not so much as in a 48 vs 48, but air still plays a dominant role in how the game will be played out. You can see on the map how the early aircraft, there's some suicidal reavers, some suicidal sides, and you're going to see the count of the reavers from Sturm Grenadier and how the importance they play in stopping Galaxies from doing their drops, stopping sides from doing their bombing runs, and stopping libs from doing their runs. Here we go, you have 7 reavers in the sky. That's at least a fully third of the forces committed by Sturm Grenadier to the air. And I think that they're not underplaying the importance, as the casters wisely pointed out, but they're actually playing the right numbers with the numbers game. As the match continues, you're going to see the damage they do. The damage they do to this Galaxy that's coming in to do a drop. And I found out even in the match, in our scrim with Nook versus TXR and Merc, that we found a similar situation as this Galaxy. We're going to see them, they're all going to have to eject right there. They're all going to drop into this crevice, and they're just going to get nailed on by reavers. When you dominate the skies, you allow opportunities like this to happen, which give your guys on the point more breathing room, more cap time, more room to spread out. And you're going to see another Galaxy come in and get bombarded. So this is what dominating the air allows your outfit to do. Even in pub play, you can apply this by dominating the air around where your platoon is working, by giving yourself a lot more breathing room with dominating the skies. You're going to see this Galaxy right away start to get nailed on. I think it barely makes it to the point, but even then, as soon as they land, you're getting hit by rockets, you're getting displaced, you're getting dislodged, and so air is still playing a very heavy role, even if you do get the drop on the point. And we found out in our scrim versus TXR and Merc that the thing with dominating the air was it allowed libs to have the run of the sky. Basically, libs can fly anywhere they want to, they can bomb anywhere they want to indiscriminately without getting hurt, without getting really threatened, because you have reavers or sides or mosquitoes up. And that's one of the beautiful things about the Nexus, is that it does allow for sky to dominate. Okay, here we are again, and I'm emphasizing the point one more time just because of how important I really think it is, and that's that air dominates the Nexus. Here we are on Auraxis SATCOM hub, and the same thing is happening where you have early Galaxies flying troops to the point, you have sides or mosquitoes or reavers, ESFs flying to the point, and then you have Sunders driving up to the forward deploy. What happened this time is Rage Quit readjusted their tactics, so they had Sunders going in without troops, acting as primarily and solely forward supply bases, and you had the sky, as you can see right here, more people placed in the sky by Rage Quit Gaming. It was a good adjustment on their part, and they adapted very, very well to what the situation was calling for, because they had seen firsthand what Sturm Grenadier did to them in the first match and in the first round, and that was to basically push them off the point, get them backpedaling on the point because of the domination of air. Now, I've said this again, and I'm going to say it again and again and again. You want to dominate the sky in the Nexus. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. It's either dominate the sky or lose the match. And I really think Sky plays that, the ESFs and libs and Galaxies play that important of a role in what's going to happen in the Nexus. Is equally, if not more important than the sky in the Nexus, is properly supported maxes. And I would say for any live competition, you always want your maxes supported with medics and engineers. Actually, engineers and medics in that order. Now you're going to see here this lone max pushing around the point, running from that sky max. Here comes the support behind him. Now you see the Sturm Grenadier max was properly supported with a tether. Basically, you have your max, and then he's supported by an NG, and that NG himself is supported by a medic. Those three create their own little mini ball within combat, and you always want that little blob running around wherever you need to be. I know, and then in the outfit that I play in Nuck, we tend to run around with squad. It's more squad based than those mini blobs, but those mini blobs still have an effective requirement on the battlefield, which basically means the max. Whenever I play medic, I'm always looking at the engineer to make sure he's okay, because you have heavy assaults, they have med kits, they have resist shield, they have rocket launchers. They're able to sustain themselves on the battlefield for longer periods of time without needing that direct support from the NGs or the medics. They basically only go back to NGs and medics if they need to be topped off once they're out of med kits, or if they need ammo once they're already out of ammo. But with the max, you need to be constantly supporting maxes, especially with the resource system, and it's something that I didn't talk about earlier, but that also I feel needs to be said. The resource system currently on the Nexus allows such a small tick of resources that you could basically run dry with your armor or air or maxes. Infantry resources, armor resources, and air resources are at an all-important high with the current iteration of the Nexus, because you don't get those ticks. Now, if you have properly supported maxes, and you're going to see in this video, here's another Zoe max running around by himself. Actually, Zoe maxes are the exception to that, because of Zoe itself that allows the movement speed bonus. They can fight off further by themselves and other maxes, so they're allowed more independence in that respect, but you always want to have your engineers and medics close by in case, you know, it hits the fan and you have to have these maxes properly supported. Here I want to show a good example by Rage Quit on how to properly support your maxes. If, once we get the video started, I'll be able to show you. Here we are, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maxes, and look at the support running behind them. There they go. It was a quick view of those support classes running behind those maxes, but this was actually a really good job by Rage Quit. And I found at the beginning of the match, they did a lot of this stuff where they were running around with Zoe maxes and they were properly supporting them with engineers and medics. But the problem, and I want to go into why I think Rage Quit Gaming and Storm Grenadier are mid-tier outfits. I would say there's top tier, mid-tier, and then you're basically your bottom tier. And I would categorize Rage Quit and Storm Grenadier as mid-tier outfits because they had examples like you just saw of really good play. I mean, they had properly supported maxes, they were attacking a point as a unit, they were flanking, you know, they were going after Sunderers, they were having proper air support. And then on the reverse side, you would have situations where basically the maxes would be off by themselves, infantry would be scattered, dying alone. You know, they would have, their flanks would be unresponding, they wouldn't be going after Sunderers, they'd be getting overrun by enemy troops instead of flanking and going for the Sunderers. So the level of play was unbalanced, and I think that's what's gonna dictate whether an outfit is mid-tier or top tier. Top tier outfits would be able to hold that focus, that concentration for longer periods of time, and mid-tier outfits like these outfits that you saw in this latest community clash have moments of brilliance, but it's counterbalanced by moments of basically brain farting and not getting stuff done in the proper way. Now you see here, these infantry pushes should never be happening without maxes. You always want maxes in the mix, you always want them alive, because if you have that small tether, like I said earlier, between the max, the NG, and then the medic, they can support themselves indefinitely. I mean, the only thing that's really gonna get you is if you get overrun by 2 or 3 times your numbers. But if you properly support yourself, you could take on at least twice your numbers, or you should be able to take on at least twice your numbers in any competitive match. And think about it, if you have 4 squads in a Nexus match against 4 squads, and you're able to take on 2 squads, that leaves one of your squads to run free. And that's gonna get you the victory. That's gonna get you points, that's gonna get you bases, that's gonna get you moving forward. Now, what happens here is they have brilliant, moments of brilliance countered by this. Scattered infantry running basically willy-nilly wherever they want, and that's not what you want. And I think, well, I don't know if it was on the hands on the platoon leader or if it was miscommunication with the squad leaders, but either way, these things shouldn't be happening like you see happening now, where it's infantry huddled. I mean, unless they were out of resources, in which case it's okay, but even then, you could see that 1 or 2 maxes, look how much damage they're doing. They're completely wiping out the point of 6 or 7 Storm Grenadier. And those maxes aren't even properly supported. Here comes an infantry behind them, but even then, they're not properly supported. And imagine if they were supported, how much more damage you'd be able to do. And that's why I think this match was really like kind of like one of those tugs of war that nobody was able to really hold all 3 points for any lengthy period of time. And it was because these are mid-range, mid-tier outfits. You know, like I said, they would have their moments of brilliance, they would take 2 or 3 points, and then they would have their moments of mistakes and errors, but they would never and where the other team would take 2 or 3 points. And that's why you never saw territory actually change hands, except for one time at the end of this round. And that was because of these mistakes that they kept repeatedly making. And you don't want to be doing that. If you make mistakes, concentrate, focus, get your people back in order, even if it takes a few minutes, get them back into the fight, coordinated and useful as a unit. Now you see here, Rage Quit doing a good job of using their maxes to put pressure on the outside of the base. This is fine. There you see you have an NG. But they break the tether almost right away. Look, the NG runs in a different location. So you want those little tethers or mini blobs of units always supporting themselves, because they could act as force multipliers for as many times as you need. Basically, I mean, you could fight easily up to 2 times your numbers. Once you hit 3 times, then you're going to have a little bit of trouble. You see you have NT maxes properly supported by engineers. Now the Zoe max gets in there and kills the engineer because he was acting smart. Now you have 3 Sturm Grenadier maxes unsupported by anybody, and they go down pretty quick. So maxes have 2,000 hit points, but that can bleed pretty fast if you don't have them supported. But if you have properly supported maxes, those hit points are basically an infinite amount until they get overwhelmed with numbers. Now, you have these 3 important facets of the Nexus, and I'm going to get in my little soapbox here. You have the dominance of air in the Nexus acting as a force multiplier for anybody, which was very, very important. Now you have properly supported maxes with engineers and medics acting as force multipliers on the ground. So you have your air dominance, then you have your ground plane, you have your ground game settled. Anything between there, it's up to you, because as soon as you nail down those 2 facets of outfit play, competitive play, even pub play, as long as you nail down those facets of your outfit's gameplay, your outfit will improve leaps and bounds. And I think being a mid-tier outfit isn't bad in and of itself, because you have the most room for improvement. You have the most room to surprise anybody. And so in a 48 versus 48 match, you're going to see top-tier outfits fighting mid-tier outfits, and you can never, never, ever count the mid-tier outfit out, because they might have something up their sleeve that these top-tier outfits haven't seen, because they're used to running at 100% all cylinders, but only in a specific direction. Mid-tier outfits are like a river that has 4 little deltas in it, or whatever. They could go into any direction, and if you can't counter that, you just lost the game. So that wraps it up for this week's episode of Attack on Auraxis. I think it was a pretty good one. And like I said, once again, air dominates the Nexus. 2, have your maxes supported from engineers and medics. And 3, enjoy the game. That's it for me. Thank you.